Hello YouTube. This is my first video on my iPad. First of all, there'll be a bit of movement, but sorry about that because I'm still learning how to use this thing. This is a battle I had on the Smogon Wi-Fi Finder against SuperCharizard101. I'm using it's an OU battle. I'm using Legit Pro, Pixie, Magnet, Marvelous, Muddy, and Shadow. And I hope you enjoy. Okay. So, I lead off with Legit Pro since he has U-turn and can possibly get out of there if he has to. He starts out with his Metagross, which he swaps out because he knows that he could possibly get hit by a Flare Blitz. And he predicts that well, and I go for the Flare Blitz, which I was going to go for anyway, so because it could hit anything on his team pretty well. So it did a pretty big chunk. I go for Flare Blitz again, since he's Choice Banded, and that did a lot. I did about a third, so. And he really can't do anything to me, except because he can't Will-O-Wisp me since I'm Fire type, so pretty much I can just keep going for Flare Blitzes. So I just go for another Flare Blitz, and I take out his Dusclops, which is good, because that's his very bulky Pokemon. So now he sends out Blue Baron, which is his Salamence. And now I swap out Legit Pro and bring out Marvelous, because Marvelous can probably take anything from the Salamence. He goes for a Focus Blast, and it hits, but it doesn't do anything since Multiscale, and also I resist it. And he just goes for another Focus Blast, which makes me think it's choiced. And also a possibility that this could be Zoroark. So I just go for a Dragon Dance, thinking that it's still Salamence. And but from the damage, it seems to be Scarfed. So now he swaps out Blue Baron, which is probably a Zoroark. He brings out his Crazy Fetus, which is his Reuniclus. And I just go for Dragon Claw, just to kind of just see what it would do to the Salamence and possibly to anything else. So I didn't really see any Steel types on his team. And it does over half, so pretty much this Reuniclus is kind of screwed. So I'm just going to go with another Dragon Claw. Hopefully that I get max damage and take out this Fetus. And I do. And it takes out the Reuniclus. Now he sends out Blue Baron, which I believe is his. It isn't his real one. It's his Zoroark, since it goes for the Dark Pulse. I just go for Dragon Claw. I also thought this was still a Salamence. I thought it had like a Moxie, so until I saw that. So yeah, and I take out a Zoroark. It's starting to end out. It's starting to be Dragonite sweep, but Dragonite's gonna get kind of owned sooner or later. Now he sends out his Conkeldurr, which is pretty bulky Pokemon from what I know. And I go for a Dragon Claw, and it does over half, and then he goes for a Payback, which does a pretty big chunk, but Dragonites are always pretty bulky. He can't live another Dragon Claw unless I get like very minimum damage. He goes for a Mach Punch, thinking that it would take me out, or he just wants to get extra damage on me. And it brings me down to probably about 2-3%. Not really 2%, but probably about 10%. And now he sends out his Metagross. And I go for Fire Punch just because Dragonite's either going to die, because I thought this thing was going to have like Bullet Punch and take me out. So I don't want anything else taking a Bullet Punch. But I guess he doesn't. And he just goes for Meteor Mash and takes out Marvelous, which Marvelous did good. Took out like 3 of his team members. Now I bring out Legit Pro, since Legit Pro can probably take down the Salamence if it wants to. Well, it can do pretty much a big chunk of damage if it wants. So I'm going to just have it use Flare Blitz on this Metagross, or if the Salamence wants to come in, just Flare Blitz that as well. Now he sends out, I think it's his last Pokemon, which is his Salamence, which I can see from the Intimidate that it is actually the real Salamence. So now I swap out Legit Pro since he did his job. Now I bring out Muddy, which is my Swampert. And he just goes up, sets up a Dragon Dance, which is, it's okay. We'll let him outspeed pretty much everything on my team right now. And he just goes for an Outrage, which I think I can take 1. Because I'm defensive and I have HP investment, and I do. And I go for an Ice Beam, and that does a very big chunk, which is saying that this thing is probably very bulky. I can't take another Outrage, so I'm just gonna let Muddy just die here. And Muddy did his job. Ice Beamed it, brought it down very low, and now he's confused. So now I can just. Well, he has a Lumberry, so he snapped out of it. So, now I'm just going to bring in Magnet, since Magnet can probably take a lot of the things he has, unless he has Earthquake. And he does, so wasn't suspecting that. So, Magnet just dies here. And now I believe I send in Pixie, which I believe Pixie can probably take any hit this guy has. And he goes for an Outrage, which does a pretty big chunk, but Pixie's defensive. So I just go for a Psychic, since I know that probably most likely take it out. And that is the end of the battle. That was a very fun battle. I hope to have a lot more. Also, tell me what you think different between me using my webcam and using this. I'll find out how to make this better so I don't have to like hold it up while recording. And thank you and goodbye.